I think I just spent 10 minutes trying to get the camera level and I am not sure I succeeded. Hi. Hello. I am trying out the About Face, the, what is it called? The Performer Foundation, Skin Focused Foundation, even better. I have it in shade F1 Neutral. So I have swatched this. I don't think I've applied it all on my face like completely yet. So we're gonna give this a go and see how it is. The first thing I'll note is that it has this doe foot applicator, which both is like a pain to get out. And also I don't like putting things directly on my face. So I am carefully going to swipe some on my hand without hopefully knocking the thing over. So just a little bit at a time. And then I have a damp sponge. This one is from Eco Tools. And I'm just gonna tap it on. Also, I need a mirror. All right. And I think, I'm not sure about the shade. It might be a tiny bit light for me, but when I looked at the next shade online and looked at some reviews, I just wasn't convinced that the next one up was going to be, like, I thought it would be too much in the wrong direction. And also I think, I'm not sure about the undertone on this, but that is going to be a recurring theme on this channel because rarely does the undertone of something match me. Okay, everybody's got different ways of working with their tools, right? I have my Hello Kitty cup, I've had this forever, that I put my sponge in when I'm not holding it, because otherwise I will knock things around. All right, yeah, I get that it's kind of spill proof, but I absolutely hate like that. I would much prefer a pump bottle. And when I put a little bit more on my hand, I noticed that it does seem quite peach. And that is the most common problem that I have with like more neutral leaning foundations. That they're just like a little too saturated of a peach color. Right. I may have to do the directly on the face thing though, because I'm having trouble getting enough out at once. And also I'm worried that I'm going to go a little too heavy on this part of my face. So let's try just the clean side of the sponge. I'll just tap that in. So that's this part of my face covered. I don't know if I love the texture close up, but in general, because my skin's so reactive, I have to let things sit for a little bit before I actually know, because I'll just get a lot more red from like literally just touching my face. So yeah. Okay, let's try putting some, dare I, directly on my forehead. Also, did I say what I have on my face already? I forget. So I've been doing SPF, but I am not wearing SPF today. Ooh, see, yeah, that's why I don't do this. It's like so much heavier when I start this way. And maybe I put too much on, but you know, this is like the difficulty of these things. Something has been making me itchy though, so I'm not doing the SPF today, just to see if that's what's causing it. Yeah, to me, like, up close it looks quite makeup-y because of that difference in like the skin tone, but I think you can see also like things that are kind of in this color family on my skin, they start to pull pink on me. Yeah, I don't know, compared to my neck, that's interesting, right? It gives me that kind of white cast. I'm gonna take a photo on my phone. Hopefully, I think it's in my pocket. And I will convert photos to black and white, you know, just like desaturate them on my phone so that I can see if it's an undertone problem or actually too light. Because again, because I'm so fair, things often, if the undertone's like even a little bit off and there's like this much coverage, and I would say this is probably medium coverage foundation, it can make it look like like my face has become more pale than my neck, but it's actually just that it's usually that it's more pink or more peach. And also, again, because my skin is so reactive, when it's got more pink from touching it, it really emphasizes that effect. It tends to make makeup seem like more of a mask. And usually once it has a chance to kind of set down, some of that will go away. Not always entirely though. Yeah, like the more I'm taking out of the bottle, the more I'm like, this is so peach. And it's really unfortunate that the lightest shades in foundations tend to be quite saturated like this, because when you're, and this actually happens on the deeper shades too, when you're as fair as I am, or if you have quite a deep skin tone, your skin isn't necessarily a saturated color, you know? Like you still have that undertone, but it may, it just may be a lot less like saturated kind of pigment. Let's see if I can even out my nose a little bit. And yeah, kind of pull it onto my neck a little bit. I feel like I need a little bit more if I want to cover up here, but I don't know, there's something very doll-like about it at this stage, right? Which might be what you're going for. All right, let me just use my phone to check. Let's see how far off we are. Sometimes it also gives me a better like overall impression than the mirror does. And obviously, you should know every camera lies, right? Like it's going to highlight different things. It's going to absorb light different ways. Yeah, it does look kind of weird. Okay, hold on. See, it's not, it could be the tiniest bit too light, but let's see if I can do that without the glare. But it's not so far off, right? It's again just that like, it's this sort of soft, like, what would you even call that? Doll-like is just the first word that comes to mind, right? And yeah, that's so interesting. Like, I just wanted to say that, like, maybe my neck has a little bit more yellow in it, and then my face, it has lost the yellow. I'm gonna have to do some experimenting with, like, the color swatching, color theory type stuff, because it's such a weird thing that I've been running into, and I haven't quite figured out, like, what colors would cancel it out versus emphasize it. All right, what do we think? Does it look blended? Can't tell. I have the most translucence in my face, kind of here at the temples, under the eye here, and then of course on the eyelids, which most fair-skinned people, you can see the veins. Yeah, I don't know, it's the way it's setting in, it's not bad. It looks better on camera than it does up close. Like, up close, I can really see that sort of like pinkish cast to it. Like, I can tell I didn't entirely get it right under my nose. Like, yeah. But it looks better. I will say it looks better in the places where I don't have a lot of redness from my rosacea. So, and I feel like even though I put it on a little bit, yeah, I notice like around the eye area especially. So, I don't know. And it is like, my driest patch tends to be right here, and it is kind of catching. And there's like, not really a full wrinkle, but there's just like a little groove right there, you know, at the bridge of the nose. But I think the thing I like least is how it sits on top of the rosacea, you know, and on like the pinkest areas. So, yeah, interesting. Like, it looks, I have to say, it looks wildly better on camera. Which is something too, because often when I put makeup on, it's because I kind of just want to, you know, I've got like a Zoom call and I want to even out my skin tones so that I feel less like the person I'm talking to is like, oh, they have rosacea. You know, like, please notice other things about me first, right? And so, yeah. So in that respect, it could be okay for like that occasion, but yeah, we'll see. All right, let's do something else while we see if it's gonna kind of like set down and improve, improve those areas in the center of my face that I don't like as much. So I am going to, I kind of meant to do this first. I have the e.l.f. Putty Color Correcting Eye Brightener. I have this in the lightest shade, which is it inside the cap? No, of course not. I don't know what the lightest shade name is. It should be printed on here. It's not. Anyhow, this is like, it's sort of this weird like pinkish color, you know? It is a really like weirdly good match under my eyes. I mean, like, I say match, but I mean like good blending thing under my eyes. And I was skeptical, you know, because I don't have a lot of darkness. What I have is shadows from having a much like more hollow under eye. And this is only like gotten more apparent as I get older. You know, as you lose collagen in your face, things tend to sag. There's just like less of those fibers that are like holding it up and making it plumper. And so if you have hollow under eyes, it can become a little bit more exaggerated just from that like loss of volume in your cheeks, you know? And so the same thing that hollows out my cheeks a little bit, like I always had very like a round face, you know, round cheeks, right? As this is hollowed out, it has also kind of created more of a divot, I don't know, under the eyes. And I've been trying out this under eye corrector. And I find that it just really smooths things out. Like, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. But yeah. Definitely up close in person, I really like the effect. And I mean, if you compare, like on this side, I think the shadow might feel a little bit more pronounced versus on this side. And it's such, like, it's a small detail, you know? But yeah, I just really like what it does. And, you know, this e.l.f., it's a copy of more popular, not more popular, like longer running, longer available products, but this is like the best argument for like a product dupe, you know? Not that, not like, okay, so I'm going to get that and that's the only thing it replaces, that product on the market, but I would never pay like the full, you know, Becca, Smashbox, whatever price to try out a product like this, because I would just assume it's not going to work for me. I think I got a little bit too much here on my cheek. I would assume that because, you know, again, I'm so fair, and even just a slight issue with the color of something can really stand out. But now that I know that I like the effect on me, you know, maybe I'll give it another try. You know, like try some other versions of this kind of product if they come in a pretty similar shade. So, all right, we have some smoothed under eyes. I would say like the, you know, 3-foot version is quite nice. The up close, like, it has, as the like redness in my cheeks has sort of decreased, you know, again, like as my skin, what's the opposite of reacts? It chills the heck out. Yeah, some of that like way that makeup can look like a mask, the way that it sits on my cheeks, that does tend to mellow out, you know, and also the product, if it's like a little bit creamy, it'll start to set in, like, I don't know if it's absorbing so much as like the formula itself is drying down in certain ways. So that it tends to improve. But then the other thing that'll happen is that if I like, I don't know, run up the stairs or something, I get flushed, right? And so all that flush is going to come back. And so makeup that sits like a little funny on my cheeks in that way, it's just going to be like poof all of a sudden, right? You know, you'll just like instantly see that again. And, you know, if I, like, I don't know, if I was drinking, right? Alcohol can sometimes trigger that, or, you know, hot weather, whatever. Yeah, and so what it'll do again is like change this from a much like sort of calmer, smoother appearance to suddenly there's obviously like this red underneath the makeup. And that's an effect that I don't like. I mean, because it just looks weird. It looks like, I don't know, what's even the term for it? Like artificial, let's say. Like your skin will naturally not do that, you know. Even if you have very dry skin, you kind of, the flush tends to feel like it's not underneath. I mean, if my skin's very dry and about to like flake off maybe, you know, but otherwise like, yeah. But what I see in the monitor, I'm like, yeah, I can live with that. So, I don't know. All right, let's do brows. Let's do something with my brows. Like, what am I feeling like? I think I'm just gonna keep it simple. So for this, I have the e.l.f. brow pencil. I don't know if it has a more specific name. I've got two versions of their brow pencils. So I have the Ultra Precise brow pencil, and then I also have just regular brow pencil. But this one is in the shade taupe, and the other one, the Ultra Precise, is in, that is so tiny I cannot possibly read it. Wow. Oh no, if I let my eyes relax. Neutral brown. But this is a little dark for me, so we are going to put the cap on the under eye corrector thingy. We're gonna wipe under eye corrector off of my tray. How does that even happen? Does that come off the lid? Anyhow, brow pencil. So I don't like to make my brows darker. I feel like it feels really extreme on me. But what I will do is kind of just brush them up just a little bit, maybe up and out, and then I take the edge of it and just like tap that down. They're not going to stay like this unless I apply brow gel, and I'm just not feeling like the brow gel today. I have a clear one. I'd like to find one that's in a shade that's like really close to this, you know, so that if I wanted to go like bushier but not darker, I don't know if bushy brows are in right now, but if I wanted to do that, then I would need to find one that's like, I don't know, basically ash blonde, I think, to match. My brows might be a bit darker than that, but yeah, most shades of brown are like a lot. Okay, so then the other thing I'll do with this is take the pencil, and this is, I wish it was a little bit skinnier of a tip. It is very soft though, so I have to be careful because otherwise it's gonna kind of get extreme. But I'm just going to like basically dot a little bit at the bottom here where there should be the most shadow. And all that's going to do is sort of like just emphasize the shadow underneath my eyes. It should be a pretty subtle effect. So then my brows have more depth, you know, like they kind of stand off my face a little bit more. But without feeling like I've made them a lot darker or deeper or, you know, any of those things. Whereas if I fill them in, it's just going to look a lot more dramatic to me. There's kind of a gap there though. What is that? All right. Maybe brush them up one more time. And with a really soft pencil like this too, like the spoolie, this brush can kind of blend it in a little bit too. So, all right. Just a little bit more depth without getting dramatic. And then I'm going to put the cap on so I don't get brow pencil all over myself. I think that goes on the spoolie side. Cool. All right, what else do I want on here? Like, I mean, for me, I would be happy to just go like this, you know, like put some lip gloss on and call it. However, I have this other product that I wanted to try. So this could be a bad idea. Because I will not say that I am confident about bronzer or, you know, anything like that. So this may start to look clownish, but like, you know, like this sort of like just neutral kind of face, like to me this is fine. And you can still see some color coming through on my cheeks. Like I don't look like a person who has zero rosacea, but I look like a person who has maybe, you know, more chill and again, like, I don't know, just doll-like. That's the word I keep coming back to, which, okay. It does look like it's matching my neck fairly well now that it's calmed down though. You know? Like, all right, camera battery died. I ordered another one while I was waiting for it to charge. I ordered another one because I really should have two. So it also gave me a chance to see like how this sort of sets down on me. It definitely looks best on this side where I applied the least. My forehead is patchy, which could be the directly onto the forehead with the doe foot kind of problem. But I do notice like it's the most spotty here where I have the most dryness. Not shocking, you know. It also like, so here with natural light on camera, this is the best it looks. It doesn't, especially like in my bathroom mirror where the light's a lot warmer, I do not like the effect. But this gives me some hope that with a little bit more careful application and maybe like hydrating moisturizing primer underneath, And I would really prefer not to need a primer for foundation. I just feel like when you have a lot of like skincare needs, it ends up being so many steps, right? Like you're going to maybe, rinse your face in the morning, put possibly a vitamin C serum on, put your moisturizer on, put your, SPF on. If you have less dry skin, you might be able to go straight to the SPF. But I find that I've got to at least do the moisturizer first. And so, by the time you've gotten to that point, it would be nice to just like put a layer of something on, add whatever details you care about and be done, right? And so, yeah, that's how I feel about primers. They can be nice for special effects, but I would ideally not be using one every day. So anyhow, I swatched the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer, this thing on my hand. I have it in shade light. I can see it definitely is gonna pull orange on me, which after I bought it, I saw a couple more reviews that said, some of the deeper shades are actually a little bit more neutral. So that's unfortunate. This might be one that I return and get a different shade. We'll see. But we're gonna try it on my face and find out what happens. So my hands tend to be, let me show you the other one. My hands tend to be kind of pink. I get a lot of eczema issues in the winter, and I've been trying my hardest to get that to kind of heal up. But I will have like more redness. And so that can mean that hand swatches are actually quite relevant to my face, but not as easy to tell the undertones on things. So, all right, enough stalling. I've got it. I've tapped it out on my brush to even it out. And then, yeah, let's just see on the skin, right? That's not bad. Let's see if there's a little bit more here. Yeah, mixed in with everything. That's not bad. Let's get a little bit more. It almost seems like, it reads orange, but also a little rosy to me, And that makes me a little bit more optimistic for how it's gonna blend in. So I'm lightly tapping it on, right? Like, I don't have a lot of product on the brush. And I'm just starting from like the top of my ear kind of into the hollow of my cheek. Yeah, so does that seem even? I don't hate it. Let's just add a tiny bit more. Kind of build it up and see what effect it's gonna have with just a little bit more on here. All right, now it's quite obvious on my skin. So, once is good, twice may not be better. But let's see, maybe dab just a little bit up here. People often say like to apply the bronzer into your hairline, but my scalp is so pale that actually you can kind of see it here. I naturally have like a pretty sharp line between where I've had sun exposure and where I haven't. And so it would almost be less natural to blend it into my hairline, Yeah, not gonna be true on everybody. All right, and now that we've gone a little bit extra, let's see if we can bring it back down with the sponge. I'm gonna switch to the clean side. It does blend smoothly. I like that about it. Another thing that often happens is that because I do have, I've got the peach fuzz, and I get some redness right here. So sometimes a bronzer it just kind of brings out the redness that's like right on this part of my face more. But I do like that this kind of blends in smoothly, that it doesn't add a lot of texture. So let's see. I'm gonna have to grab my phone. I will get a bigger than pocket size mirror. Looking at it on my phone, yeah, it's subtle. That's all right though. I mean, to me, it just also still emphasizes how I really don't like how the center of my face is looking, you know? Like there's kind of chalky is the word I think I was going for earlier. My phone camera, my forehead looks fine, this part looks fine, but the center, like right here where the rosacea is strongest, just looks chalky. And yeah, and that's the effect that I like least with all this stuff. So, but again, in my video monitor, I'm like, that's all right, you know? Okay, let's take a picture. Here we go. And, oh, I don't like that pose. Let's try this. So that's what that looks like. And to me, that's a pretty good dark to light kind of match, you know? And if I was just planning to take selfies in black and white, or only interact with people in color filtering glasses, like, you know, sure. Yeah, so that's interesting too, and that's something I encourage you, if you do have rosacea and you do find that you're having a lot of trouble with, you know, like the stronger rosacea parts of your face, and it's making it hard to tell if you have the right foundation shade, I really recommend doing something like this, so you can at least find out if it's like, you know, going to be too light, too dark, or if it is really just about the color balance. Because again, like, different colors can read lighter or darker to us, even though they're not. And the contrast between colors can also create like lightness, that sense of like lightness and darkness. It's what you play with, like when you contour, this is actually the thing that you play with. Like they can both be the same like depth of color, but by putting a cooler tone here and a warmer tone here, you're automatically creating the contrast that makes the cheekbone pop and the, you know, sort of pocket here seem to recede. And that's what gives you the definition. It's the play between the colors and not necessarily that one's lighter and darker, although you can certainly go that way. And so, yeah, I mean, maybe I'll do a contouring video at some point, but I don't know. What do you think? I'm definitely not gonna wear it. Like, I mean, you know, I'll look in the mirror at myself in an hour and just be like, yeah, Audrey, we cannot. So, yeah, and that's where I'm gonna leave my look for today, you know? Like, this is what I'm comfortable with, right? I do not go for a very feminine look. I'm really just about like, how do I increase the luminosity, even out the skin tone, create something that feels very healthy to me and not makeup-y, and something where I don't personally feel like I'm distracted by the amount of, you know, the redness, or distracted by, you know, every time I look in the mirror thinking like, well, is my skincare working? Is it, you know, what's going on here? And just like getting stuck in that loop. Sometimes just a little bit of makeup to even it out can really help. So, all right. Final thoughts? Did I introduce myself? I don't think I did. So I'm Audrey. I have dry skin, I have rosacea, I have eczema also, like I talked about on my hands. And I am doing some reviews and tutorials around the idea of just how do you get, you know, how do you get products to work for you? How do you find the right products? How do you get a look that you can go out and, you know, about your day feeling like yourself, you know? whatever that means to you. And I also, I want to really bring in the queerness of it too, right? That gender isn't a binary, gender isn't just how you present, although it, can be a big part of it. And makeup isn't just about like feminizing, although it can be, right? Makeup can be something that's really of utility to all of us across the gender spectrum if that's how we want to look and feel, and what we enjoy playing with. And I enjoy playing with makeup, so I really hope that you'll stick around. Please give this a video a like if you found it useful, because that's what's going to help other people find it on YouTube. As you will hear from many creators, the YouTube algorithm is a funny beast. So and subscribe so you can see more of this. I really hope I'll see you again. So all right, thank you, have a great day. Bye.